The Spanish government understands that there hasn't been a reply to its requirements. As a result, the government will continue with the procedures outlined in Article 155 of the Constitution with the objective of restoring legality in Catalonia.
Spain's main stock index, the IBEX 35, fell almost 1%, while the yield on the Spanish 10-year government bond rose slightly. The euro shrugged off the news, trading at a one-week high against the dollar. For more on the crisis and the effect on both economies, Professor of Economics at Harvard University, Pol Antras, joins us from Cambridge in the US state of Massachusetts. Thanks so much for joining us, Professor Antras. Now, very quickly, before we talk about the business side, you are from Barcelona. How does this make you feel?
Oh, it is, I can say with all certainty, this is one of the most stressful times of my life. You know, it is really disheartening to see some of the things that we've been seeing in recent days and weeks.
Now let's talk about the business side. How would you assess the market reaction to the events in Catalonia since the 1st of October and, of course, today?
Well, I don't think it's particularly surprising. We know markets, they don't like uncertainty, and certainly what we are witnessing in Spain these days and in Catalonia is very much a situation of uncertainty where it is very much unclear what's going to be happening over the next few weeks and months. Every day we hear new news about how things are evolving, and as long as there's no certainty as to how things are going to settle, the markets are obviously going to be a little bit shaky, as often happens in those situations.
Now tell me, what sort of financial blow to Madrid would secession bring from one of its wealthiest regions?
So, I mean, this is a hard question to answer. It very much depends on if, in the hypothetical case of a secession, it would very much depend on what is the path that leads to that secession. I think part of the reason why markets are reacting the way they're reacting is because they assign a non-trivial probability of this potentially happening. But it happening in a highly confrontational situation where, from the point of view of both parties involved, the economic costs, the transitional economic costs could be quite large.
And talk to me about that. Can Catalonia actually afford this? And can Spain afford this?
Well, I think that in the long run, it's pretty clear to me that Catalonia would be a viable country. I think it's pretty clear to me that Spain, without Catalonia, in the long run, would be a viable country. That's not to say that a secession is something that is beneficial, that would be jointly beneficial for both countries, and in particular, if what's going to happen is indeed an eventual secession, but one that we reach after a long process of confrontation, then it is clear that this is not just going to be costly for Spain, but it would be costly for Catalonia as well.
Now, since October the 1st, around 700 companies have moved their headquarters out of Catalonia. Even though it's just their headquarters and it's just the paper registration, what signal does this send to possible investors?
So it is a little bit hard to figure this out right now, because that there is a distinction between moving the headquarters in a sort of abstract sense and sort of moving workers to Madrid or to other parts in Spain. We haven't seen a lot of that. We've heard announcements, but it is hard to kind of disentangle what is a reaction to the possibility of secession to one where it might be, certain firms that are powerful in Spain and politically connected might be trying to send messages to both parties to try to kind of find a solution to the current situation. So I, of course, have followed these events, these decisions, with a high amount of preoccupation. But I don't think that those decisions or those announcements are necessarily reflecting long-run plans of these companies, at least at this point in time.
Okay, thanks so much for your insight, Mr. Antras. That was Pol Antras, Professor of Economics at Harvard University.